Hey there, I'm Jeff Elkins, and this is the Dialogue Doctor Podcast. Today on the podcast, I'm sitting down with some of the dialoguers and Dialogue Doctor Coach Laura Humm to discuss the novel My Friends by Fredrik Backman. All right, before we get into the podcast, let's talk about things coming up. First off, I have an amazing, intensive masterclass, 2 hours long, with a fantastic editor and author, C.S. Lakin. I would love for you to come and join us. It is on September 23rd, 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern time. CS and I are going to do two really strong hours on how to write dialogue. And it's great. She and I have been collaborating a ton on planning it out. I'm really excited about it. So I hope you will come and join us. We're going to have some great examples of like, hey, this is great dialogue and here's what it's doing. Here's why you should really rope into it. So yeah, come and be a part of that. I will put out a newsletter on Monday and on Wednesday, and there will be signups there. You can find it on Teachable. But yeah, come and join us. It's going to be a lot of fun. If you can't come live, but if you register for it, you will get a recording of it. So even if you can't make it live, come and register. Second big announcement, the Dialogue Dash is coming up. This is our fall community writing experience. It's a ton of fun. It's 80 days long. It starts the last Sunday in September. We do 30 days of writing. 30 days of planning, 30 days of writing, and then 2 months, 2 weeks of editing. 2 months, 2 weeks of editing. Come and jump in with us. All of my times are off right now. Come and jump in with us. It is a blast. It doesn't matter where you are in your novel. You can be deep in your novel and getting close to an editing phase, or the novel can just be a spark of an idea. It doesn't matter. What we're doing is helping you for 30 days kind of think about what you have and help secure some ideas and some characters around you so that it works well. And then in the second phase, we're all just working hard. We're setting some goals on writing sprints or on editing sprints and really trying to get as much work done in 30 days as we can. And then we take a step back in 2 weeks and look at some editing techniques that can help us polish it. So when you sign up, you get entrance to the Dialogue Doctor Slack community. We do kind of weekly prizes to keep us motivated. We have 9 hours of webinars. So we do weekly webinars, and there's 9 of those over the 80 days. And they are a lot of fun. We learn a ton. You get 2 workbooks. The coaches, JP, Laura, and I hold office hours 3 times a week, which is just the time that you can show up and ask us questions. All of this is recorded, so if you can't come to it any live, you get recordings of it every week. So come and join us. There's more, too, that we do. It's a huge program. Come and join us. You might think that this is like a $3,000 program. It's not. This is the program that I keep super cheap because it's my way to get you all of the stuff we do for those that can't afford it. So remember when I started writing books, and still some now, I was really poor and I could not afford anybody's programs, and it used to drive me crazy. So this 80-day program costs $1 a day. Come and sign up. Well, I don't want price to be an excuse for anybody. So come and sign up. It's $1 a day. You get a community around you. We're going to help you finish your book. Okay, that is those are all the announcements. I don't have any more announcements. I don't know if I have a big personal update. This is my year of writing screenplays. I'm writing my 3rd one right now. It's coming along. I'm just cranking it out, and I'm working on Nerds season 2 with JP, which is great. And we have a Kickstarter coming up in October for Nerds, like a artistically beautiful version of Nerds season 1 and season 2 thrown in there as well. And it's going to be a really awesome Kickstarter. I'm really pumped about it. So if you want to find it, Nerds is NRDS. You can look it up on Kickstarter. It'll pop up. But yeah, anyway, I'm really excited about it. It's going to be a great, Nerds season 2 is a really great book. And there was a season last year where I spent a lot of time working on a nonfiction book that never will see the light of day. And I love being back writing fiction. It's way more fun. So anyway, that's my writing update. I think that's it. That's enough of me jabbering on. Now, I need to warn you. So we are about to transition into talking about Fredrik Backman's book, my friends. Fredrik Backman is my favorite author by far. I adore him. I love him. It's why I'm running this episode, because I feel like we have a ton to learn from him. This is something that dialoguers do. The dialoguers are people in the Dialogue Doctor community. You can sign up with that at dialoguedoctor.com. You can enter as low as $5 a month. All right, I'm not going to say that again. So we meet twice a month to like study a short story, study a novel, talk about a craft book, anything. Just have an office hour. We meet twice a month over Zoom to do that. And this was actually our most recent meeting. I publish very few of these meetings as podcasts, but I adore Backman, and I think we have so much to learn from him. I do need to warn you, Laura and I get in a debate about the ending. So there's some major spoilers in this episode. If you have not read the book yet, you may want to hold off on this episode. Because we spoil the crap out of it because we start arguing about the ending of one of the characters. So I just wanted to warn you about that. But if you haven't read it or if you don't care about the spoilers, we have a really great conversation in this episode about character change, character growth, what you do with a third party narrator that sits over top of the story, Backman's cyclical storytelling. Like, there's a lot of meat in this, which is why I wanted to share it. At the same time, spoilers. All right, you have been warned. There are spoilers. Okay, that's it. Let's get into the episode. Okay, who read it?
I'm halfway through.
Dixie read it. You're halfway through, Mary? Okay.
We did it for our book club.
Oh, nice. Okay, great. Let's just start. I didn't make any slides or anything for today. I don't have like a teaching on the book. So I thought we'd just talk about it.
Sure.
Yeah. So how did we feel about it?
It was one of my favorite books.
Why is that?
The humor, yet the emotionality, I guess. I don't know if that's the word, but just how it made you feel. But you just were laughing and crying and then laughing and crying. But there was a girl in the book club like you, Jeff, who just got through a really rough thing, and she gave it a 3. Everybody else gave it 4 and 5s, but she's like, I couldn't do it.
It was too heavy for her.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a heavy book.
Which after we get through talking, I'll tell y'all a couple things about, because I deep dove and watched interviews.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm fascinated. What'd you learn?
Well, so one thing is this was his second go round of the book, because the first one he finished and gave it to all his, beta readers and friends. And they were like, interesting. Did you mean for it to be that dark? So this actually is a much, much lighter version than.
Interesting.
But he said he was going through darkness in his life. And that's why it was so dark. And he loves his wife. He's like you, Jeff. He talks about his wife. I think she's like his inspiration in life and everything. And he doesn't like people, basically. He says he likes 7 people and that's it. And so he just was in a really dark place when he wrote it. So when he went back and added humor, that's what he did. He, instead of writing humor and then adding darkness, he wrote dark and then added humor. But he said he argued with his editor a lot about the fart jokes. He said there's actually like 25 more fart jokes that were in it that the editor wouldn't let him put in.
It's really funny. That's hysterical.
Well, if he listens to this book and he's looking for a new editor, I will never cut a fart joke.
That's right. Yeah, I think you'd have to learn to edit in Swedish.
I mean,
this was his first one. He actually wrote it in English. All the other
really?
ones,
Man, that's impressive. That's crazy.
Or he got it edited, and I can't remember if he wrote it, or maybe just got it edited in English. But
Wow.
this was the first one that it actually, English was the first one. And one more thing is his wife, like I said, was his inspiration, and she's the one who knows all about art. And when he wrote this book, he actually was writing it as he was watching her watch art. So he's reacting to her reacting to art. It was kind of cool.
Yeah, that is very cool. I love that.
I can put the interview in the link, and
yeah, that'd be great.
It was really interesting.
I'll totally watch it. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
That's awesome. Yeah. What else did we like about it? Mary, you got anything you liked about it?
Oh, I love it. I don't see it as dark. I see it as beautiful. I'm only halfway through, but my God, I'd like to meet that. I think I know the man I is writing, but you know, he is he is so spot on with emotions and talking about loss and grief and you know, connecting again and not connecting. So I see it beautiful. I don't see it dark at all. But that's the way. That's many people probably see my stuff maybe a little dark, but that I don't see it that way.
Yeah, nice. Laura, you have anything that stood out to you?
You want to go first? I mean, he's like one of your favorite authors.
Yeah, I can go first. What did I like about this one? I really liked the narrator's voice in this one. It was different than in his other ones. No.
Was it Louisa, or
the narrator is an unnamed character that's kind of looking down on the whole story. He uses an omniscient narrator in this one. Usually he writes third person close, which means he picks a specific character and lives in that character's brain, but he writes it in third person. So like, you know, A Man Called Ove is entirely in Ove's perspective. Britt Marie Was Here has Britt Marie as the lead vehicle and then a couple other vehicles, but the narrator doesn't really have a personality or voice. There's not a third party narrator who's like commenting on things. Anxious People doesn't have is multi POV, but it has a third party narrator, but the third party narrator just kind of exists to move the pieces around. It doesn't actually make commentary. This time the narrator has a very strong perspective about the world and makes these very deep insights into not just the characters, but the world itself and how the world functions and what the world is. And I liked that a lot. It's not something that people do very often because I think it's really hard to pull off. You have to have, especially the way he did, there needs to be insightful things to say. And I think he had a lot to say about art and about pain and about friendship that I don't think he could have gotten. None of the characters are insightful or aware. Maybe the artist, but he vanishes so quickly. None of the characters are insightful or aware enough to say the like deep philosophical things that the voice is saying. And so I really I thought that was really impressive. I really liked how he used that. I think that was my favorite part about it.
Thanks.
Yeah. What about you, Laura?
I thought it was just spectacular. It's not the type of book I typically read. It was fantastic. I was really appreciative of the voices of the characters. Luis was very 18-year-old, raised in trauma.
Yeah.
Ted was very 40 going on 90.
Yep.
It was interesting that you mentioned the narrator almost being the artist, because I saw the narrator as the artist. throughout the
interesting.
story. Just like the insights that were being dropped really came from the perspective of an artist.
Yeah.
And but then like later and later and later in the book, as the stories start coming from not really different vehicles because they're all told by a narrator, but the perspective of them and the omniscience of the narration really kind of
Yeah.
pulls you away from this idea that it's the artist. But in the beginning, especially when Luis and Ted meet each other, that's
Mhm.
really where I felt like,
Well, and I got a feeling it's interesting, like the character profiles you're talking about, because like when Louisa and Ted meet each other, the artist feels like a guru
mm-hmm,
because it's very much how Ted sees him.
mm-hmm,
But then as you learn his story, he's really not.
Mm-mm.
He's kind of a screw up. And the more you get to know about like, he painted this beautiful painting, he got to go to art school, he continued to work and paint, but he kind of screwed off his friends and just traveled around the world. A lot of partying, a lot of drinking is kind of the story that he tells. And then he's always calling them back, but it's not until he gets sick that he actually has a relationship with Ted. It's
Mm.
not until he's starting to pass. And
it,
then he settles in with Ted. And it's not until
He needs somebody.
because he needs somebody. It's not
see,
until
I
later that
read
he
that
Mm.
quit.
very different.
How'd you read it?
Because he knew him as a kid.
Ted Ted went to him because Ted needed the artist.
Ted definitely
They
needed the artist.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they all
100%.
pushed him. They all pushed him away.
They pushed him
None of
away.
them, none of them reached out. None of them pulled him back because they knew if they did, there's a whole chapter about if we talked to him, if we pulled him back, we knew he would never leave us.
Yeah, no, I get that. But it's the post leaving that I wanted him to become the guru. And I don't
Mm,
think he ever actually becomes the guru in the book. He becomes an artist
mm-hmm,
and then he gets very sick, but he
mm-hmm,
never actually becomes the like all-knowing narrator that you hope he becomes. And
mm-hmm,
I was the same way you were. I was reading it at first. I was like, oh, the narrator is the voice of the artist, like the disembodied voice of the artist.
mm-hmm,
But then the more I read about the artist, I was like, no, the narrator's not the artist. The artist wouldn't say these things. He's not this. Kim
Yeah.
isn't as deep as the narrator is.
mm-hmm.
But I
Um,
agree. At first, he seemed like he was. I kind of agree with you, actually.
it's that phrase. I think what builds him up so much is the phrase, she's one of us.
Mm-hmm.
When he
Mm.
says that, you're like, oh, he's so insightful. But then toward the end, you learn that that's actually a phrase he got from Christian. It's not even
Mm-hmm.
it's not his own. He's mimicking what somebody did for him. It's not something that like he has profoundly, not that that lessens his character, but
Mm-hmm.
I think it separates him from that all-knowing narrator.
Mm-hmm.
He's all the characters are incredibly flawed. And I think the artist is also incredibly flawed. That
Oh
was
yeah.
one of the weird realizations I had reading it. It was like, oh, there is no necessarily like wise sage character in this book. They're all just very messed up, trying to like do the best with what they have and kind of finding the best in each other.
I mean,
Yeah.
the whole reason that the painting exists is because the artist was struggling to survive.
Yeah.
Like they all were.
Yeah.
And I think that's where their bond became so strong, is that they were all nobody understood them and they didn't understand anyone else because no one there was a scene where they were talking about some of the other kids like making fun of them,
Yeah.
and their lives were so different that neither one of them could see across to the other, which
Yeah.
is why they kind of gravitated toward each other,
Mm.
which I think
Yeah.
is
And that's
actually
why there's.
good. Dixie.
Sorry, I was just gonna say that's why they said that he's one of us, because all of them were
Yeah,
what you were just saying. Yeah,
yeah,
like a club.
yeah.
Sorry.
No, that's
mean-
exactly you just reinforced the point that I was saying. I think that's why the title is so simplistic of My Friends, right? Like it didn't need to be, it could have been The One by the Sea. It could have been The Fart. It could have been, right? Like it could have been so many things, but he didn't need it to be, because the simplicity of we're stronger together, we find the people who are like us, I think was enough.
I wonder, I would be curious if he started thinking that the narrator was the artist and then changed his mind or not, because in the beginning, I agree with you, Jeff, it did seem like he was like that, but then at the end, it didn't. But even the cover of the book, the artist is not pictured because he's the one who, you know,
Yeah, he's the
it was
space
about
around
his
them.
friends,
Yeah.
not him.
Yeah, he's the perspective. I think was kind of what I was taking from that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be
But I
honest,
wonder if he,
that metaphor never actually landed for me. I was like, I'm not real sure what he's trying to say over and over again. Where he's like, I'm all the other stuff around you. I'm like, I don't get it.
Well, it was also the way that he drew. He
Yeah.
could never draw the thing. He always had to start on the outside. And to me, it felt like he never thought that he was enough to have that, like,
be on the inside.
physicality of it. So he just kind of saw himself always on the outside. He was always there because, like, they all kept him grounded, which is why when they sent him away, he spent years and years just drinking and learning everything that he could, going everywhere that he could, because he didn't have that core group to anchor him. He was floating kind of by himself.
And if you think about it, Louisa was very similar to him too. And she always talked about her friend, not herself. Like everything was, oh, what was it? Julia? What was the friend's name?
That's her name.
Fish.
Fish, right.
Yeah. Everything was in Fish's, oh, Fish would like this, or Fish would be good at this. It was never her thinking
She always thought it was Fish's story and she was a side character.
Yeah, which is similar to what you're saying about the artist. Like, I feel like those two, and that's why Ted, I think, was attracted to her that way.
Yeah.
Almost like his friend.
Well, and I think they all in their own way were, right? Like Ali, Ted, and what was his name?
You are.
Yes,
Oh,
thank you.
You are.
They were friends because they all were protecting the artist, right? It wasn't until like that was their own sole purpose.
Yeah.
In fact, when Ali left at the same time that the artist did, that kind of broke them all apart.
Yeah. Yeah. Because,
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't like the ending.
I was very pleasantly surprised by the twist.
Which twist?
They were pushing and pushing and pushing toward.
Oh, you mean who's alive and who's dead?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. I like that.
I liked that too. I was really, Mary, we're talking in code, so we don't ruin it for you.
No, I don't. You won't ruin it. You talk to me. Tell me.
I was really upset by the character that dies off screen.
Off screen.
I don't know why that happened. It felt completely unnecessary and actually outside of the story arc. And I was like, this just feels lazy. I don't understand why this character in the end that you've like pushed us so much to like love and want a future for and have this, why, if you're going to twist end, why that one then dies as an offhanded note.
Does she die, Louisa?
What is that?
Does Louisa, is that her name? Does she die?
No.
No.
You
I
will.
just-
I don't care. You can tell
We're
me.
not telling you
but
anything,
there-
Mary. We're not
but
telling you
there-
anything.
But there are other listeners who.
Oh, all right. Okay.
We'll tell you when we turn the recording off. I'll send you a Slack message.
No. That's
I'm
okay. I'm
I was
reading it.
okay
I'm
with
reading
her
it. I just didn't want you to
with
have
that.
to worry.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was okay with that character dying. I just don't why off screen like that. Why
I thought
like,
it was.
oh, they left and then we didn't even know, but years later they died in a weird accident that they were doing something that they had never done in the entire book and had nothing to do with anything they were doing in the book.
I don't know that we read the same book.
We did. That's there was no surfing in the whole book.
Except that the whole thing was by the sea. And when she
Yeah,
got
so
there,
have them surf. If you want
they
to like
couldn't. You can't just surf
exactly.
anywhere.
Exactly.
But they explained it all.
Yeah, I don't
I
want
thought it was a
I don't
beautiful
want to
metaphor.
explain it. I want to feel it. I don't
What
want
did
it
you
like
mean off? They kill somebody off.
They
What you call?
tell you the story of how the person died,
Okay.
but it's told in a story. It's not
Okay.
like whereas
Told.
everyone else
Okay.
dies on screen, right? Like
Okay.
we're seeing
You
it, we're
see it.
feeling it,
Okay. All
or
right.
we're feeling the aftermath.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
That's what that
everyone
means.
else
Okay.
has a scene.
yeah.
Everyone else's ending has a scene. That character's ending gets no scene. All of a sudden, they're just gone. And it's like, oh, that sucks.
But they're not just gone. They've been gone for the most of the story. But it's also
But
how
we don't
the
know that.
character was brought into the story. That bothered me more than how they
Late.
left.
That
All
they
of a
just
sudden,
appeared.
you were 30% of the book in, and boom, you've got a new
Yeah.
character. And I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, it's an
That I
interesting
thought
thing.
was really-
It's a weird thing he does because he does that a lot. Like if somebody were to tell me the plot of this book and be like, "Hey, so this is something Tom asked us to talk about, which is the circular nature of the storytelling."
Mhm.
If somebody told me like, "Hey, I'm going to have three narratives. I'm going to have the present narrative, Luisa's narrative that I'm not actually going to really cover. And then like we only get like bits and pieces of her and Fish. We don't get
Oh,
near
man.
the detail of
Yeah.
Ted, um, you are Ali and Kim Kim. We don't get near the detail that we get of them. But and I'm going to intertwine these and I'm going to just keep coming back to the old narrative. I'm never actually going to finish anything. And every time I come back to it, I'm going to try to surprise you with a new detail. I think it only works because of the narrator. I think because the narrator gives insights at the end of each circle
Mm-hmm.
that are really deep and extremely profound. That's why this circle telling works. I don't know that it would work because Laura, I think like that tinge that you felt about Ali just appearing 30% of the way in, I felt it too. I was like, okay, that's not cool. The like bringing back Christian and his mom at the end of the story. If
Oh,
somebody, I was okay with it, but if somebody did
yeah.
that in a plot sheet, I'd be like, I need to hear about him in the middle of the book too. You can't just like drop him at the 20% mark and then bring him back at the 90% mark. Like,
that
So
one,
many of the
that one
great
worked for
authors
me.
do that.
but it
Yeah,
only
me too.
worked for me because of the narrator driving the like philosophical moments of being like, hey, what happened to that scene isn't important. What's important is this philosophical point
Yeah.
that Ted and Louisa both kind of understand, but I'm going to tell you. Like,
Yeah.
that's what made the book work for me. But I don't, the surfing thing didn't work for me. I was like, this
Yeah.
isn't, you're not pulling it off.
Christian and his mom come back in almost the montage scene at the end.
Yeah.
It was really like those last couple of scenes were the series finale of a 5
Yeah.
season show, and they just
It was like the
packed
book
it
had been
all in,
canceled.
and it just
Yeah.
and I thought it worked really well. I thought it was beautifully done, but it was very, oh, you're writing a montage here.
Yeah.
'Cause
Now, and I gotta say,
everything-
like, and this was my problem with the surfboard thing, is that it didn't have to be that way. That character could have been part of all those montages. If you're going to do a super happy ending, do a super happy ending.
But it was a super happy ending.
It was not. She's dead.
Yeah.
And
It's not super
you
happy.
just told Mary.
Okay, so
Mary
first of
doesn't know.
all, we don't actually
Close your
know
ears,
that
Mary.
she's dead.
You don't what?
We don't actually know that she's dead.
Okay.
And there was the very real and very heartfelt conversation between her and Yuri about they can't be each other's forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I know.
And right, like, and
I'm good with that
neither one of
conversation
them.
too.
Yeah.
I thought
I'm
she
good.
opened the door at the end. I don't know why, but
I kind of wanted her to be married with kids because
yeah.
that's what she wanted. Like that's
She
kind of what I
wanted
wanted.
she wanted a sense of normal.
Yeah.
And
That's
she
what I was
got
hoping for.
extraordinary. And
Did
she
she?
just floated away into her existence. Yeah, that's why the surfing came in.
At 18? That's not
She
extraordinary.
had never swam once until she was 14. And then by the
I know
end
who
of
you're talking
summer,
about.
Sorry, Mary. We
she
couldn't
was
hold
a
it back anymore.
fantastic swimmer. Jeff kept talking about surfing, so
I know.
we had to
Oh,
leave
that's
it.
fine.
Well, this
But-
is another thing he said in the interview I thought was interesting is that he wrote when it was real dark, he actually wrote everything in real time. Like all the scenes were in that darkness. You experienced it with them. And that was why it was so dark. And that's why he went back after everybody told him to change it and put it was the past. So everything was the past. So it made it not as real. And so that was interesting, I thought, what he said.
Yeah. I have a hard time with the multiple timelines because even when the summer that they were 14, it didn't all happen in chronological order.
It does not. He jumps around.
And I had I'm like, wait, this already and he kept referencing it based off of how old they were and what part of the summer they were in. I felt like I was like drawing a mental timeline in my head. I thought it worked. I didn't find it overly, I don't think an average reader would find it distracting. I found it distracting.
And that's where I agree with you. And I think the narrator eases it over.
I agree.
The narrator making these like deep, profound points makes you go, you know what? I don't actually care if I know when this happened.
Yeah. The emotionality outweighed the logistics in that. I agree with that.
So if somebody came in and was like, I want to write a book like My Friends, I'd be like, good luck. Like, you better have some kind of degree in philosophy to pull that crap off because that's, yeah.
It's like ADD.
Right.
Yeah.
And a very good sense of time.
Yeah. I mean, if you had told the story in linear order, it would have been interesting, but not as good.
Right.
It's like if you started the story at the beginning of the Sea Yacht Cruise adventures, took us all the way through the Sea Yacht Crew to meeting Louisa, and then did the train ride, and then came back home to meet the rest of the Sea Yacht Crew. I don't think the story would have been as intriguing. Part of what makes the story intriguing is he doesn't tell you. He tells you who they are. And Backman does this a lot in his books. It's one of his like weird games he plays. He tells you how people's futures turn out. And then the mystery is, how are they going to get there? Like in Beartown, the girl, right after the main character is sexually assaulted, in the next chapter, he explains to you that she's going to go on to university and become a fairly famous country singer.
Right.
And so the question is like, wait, how does she go from this moment of devastation to this like moment? And that becomes the mystery. Or he tells you another one he does in Beartown is there's a kid that's like a rookie on the hockey club and who is very small and getting beat up. And then after he gets like really kind of trashed, Backman drops that there's only 2 players from the team that go to the NHL and he's one of them.
Be one of them. Yeah.
And you're like, okay, he's 12. Like, I don't know how he gets from being the 12-year-old kid that gets beat up on the team to being the NHL, but it creates that like mystery. And he's doing that in this book too, where he's talking about greatness and then, but in this book, he actually shows you the artist being great as opposed to just telling you. In other books, he just tells you.
Mhm.
Does that make sense? Am I making
I
sense?
think it's how he creates a sense of hope in the darkness.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Which did
Yeah.
you
That's a
like
good way
better,
to say it.
the Bear Town, or did you
I
like
don't
this
think
one or
this
Bear
book
Town?
would have worked in the way that he wrote the other books. The other books are all linear,
Hmm.
and the future is forecasting that you'll never see. I don't think this book would have. That's what I'm saying is I don't think this book would have worked that way. He had to chop it up and tell it the way he told it, because I think the stories are too sad, but also the big reveals have to come at the end, and the big reveals are kind of in the like
Hmm.
two-third way of all their stories, if that makes sense.
I think he could have done the multiple timelines and kept, because he kept, obviously the train ride was very linear. It needed to
Hmm.
be.
Yeah. Well, you have to have
Um,
that one thread that
right.
like
Yeah,
is going to the end. Yeah.
that they were always pulling back to.
Hmm.
I think he could have pulled off a little bit more consistency in the past timeline,
Mm, yeah.
except that I think he was intentionally not doing it because of the emotionality. And there was a line in the book that I was just so ecstatic to read because it's what I talk about when I talk about emotionality all
Mm,
the time, is that we don't start at the beginning.
yeah.
We start at the place that's emotionally heaviest for us. Little kids do it. As we grow up, we're taught to tell a story beginning, middle, and end without the emotionality in it. So I think that like reinforced to me that while I was very uncomfortable in it, it was the right way for this story to be told. And I really appreciated the nod to, and I don't know if anybody's ever heard me say this, but I'm always like, if you want to do that as an author, do it, just explain it to the reader, right? So by him having the narrator, and actually it was Ted who said it, I can never start at the beginning. It was a nod to me to be like,
Yeah.
you explained it. Now I'm good with it
Yeah.
because now
Just
I don't
tell the
have to
reader.
think
Yeah.
about it. Just tell them what you're doing,
Yeah. If you're
and they'll
going to
be
play a
like,
stupid game,
right, do it.
just be like, we're going to play a stupid game. Yeah.
Hey,
And now I'm all in.
Yeah. The other thing that keeps that nonlinear like circularity going is you mentioned the train. He has a clock in all of his books. There's a countdown. We are
Hmm.
going somewhere, and when we arrive there, there is going to be an ending. So they get on the train and they're going home to sell the painting. And that's the like, there is a clock in this book. So it's like, it allows this jumping around and the like indulgence in mini stories everywhere because you know you're going somewhere,
Hmm.
if that makes sense.
did y'all like how he did the dad, how he kept him alive at the end? Yours?
That
I'll
was,
put spoilers on this episode.
I
I'll
know,
put the
a
spoilers
Sorry.
million of
warning.
them.
No,
Yeah.
I'm
That
thinking,
was,
who is the dad? I
Good.
don't
We're
know.
gonna
that,
ignore this conversation.
You
that
have
was
to.
Yeah.
a surprise that I loved.
That was
Did
a
you?
huge
Yeah.
twist that I loved. Yeah. I thought that was great.
Yeah, I
Except
thought
that
it
they
was,
I
went
think it
ahead and
really
killed
brought
Ari,
you
so there's
on.
no.
oh my gosh.
What'd you
First of
say?
all, her name was Ali, as in
Oh,
Molly.
you're right, Ali. Yeah. I dropped an
And
R in there.
it was, it was as it should have been. I mean, if you're going to argue that, you could argue that the artist shouldn't have died either.
You had to have him die to set the train off. Without him dying, there's no clock. You got to have the clock, or the book doesn't work. Yeah. He has to have the clock.
I like how it gave you our kind of like his mom a purpose, and like you are like could, I guess it gave him a redemption maybe with his dad, that he was taking care of him.
I
Oh,
mean,
the one
that
that
was,
beat up the kid, is he still alive? One who
Yeah.
beat up the mom and the boy.
Yes. Yeah. He was sort of.
So
well, I
Sort
mean,
of.
at the very end of the book, he's dead.
At the very end of the book, he's dead.
that's
He's
fine.
sort of alive.
That's okay.
No, he died. He died before Louisa before
Yeah,
Louisa
you
even.
don't meet him
Yeah.
as an
That's okay.
yeah, you don't meet him
Who would
later.
want to? Yes.
Yeah.
But the end of the summer does not end the way that he foreshadows the end of the summer ending
Yeah.
for 80% of the book. And then it's like,
Oh, okay.
oh, oh,
Yeah. And I was okay with the twist. I liked it. I liked the like what he does with the knife. I think it was really smart.
yeah,
I like the metaphor
Yeah.
of the bird
yep.
being killed and then coming back to life. I thought that was great. Like I really enjoyed all of that.
I loved that the town was a character and
Yeah.
had a
Yeah.
redemption story.
Yeah. The
That's
town's
nice.
definitely a
Okay.
chorus
Like the
character.
artist's father.
The whole town itself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, as you get to the end, you learn that all the men work at the harbor. The artist's father works at the harbor. UR's father works at the harbor. Ted's brother works at the harbor. Ox Hands works at the harbor. Like everybody's at the harbor,
They either work at the harbor or they work at the
or they
school.
work at the school. Those are the two places where they all work. So that in the end, you learn that this community kind of around these kids is the kids don't necessarily see it, but the community's highly interconnected
Mm-hmm.
and everybody knows what's happening. And
Yeah.
so
Hmm.
by the end of the book, the artist gives the town something to rally around.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
Okay.
kind of the redemption arc for the character of the town.
But it
Mm.
doesn't start with the artist. It starts
No.
with
Yeah.
UR's father.
Yeah. Starts with UR's dad. And it kind of
Yeah.
rallies the town to
Yeah.
we need to
To
create a
see
different
what they
future
hadn't,
to these children.
yeah,
Yeah.
what they hadn't seen before, they finally can see.
Yeah, you were saying something about emotionality, Laura. It is interesting. I think there's something to learn from the stories he decides to tell.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's as many stories as he tells about this group of children. There's just as many as he doesn't,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like we don't know much about the artist's home. I don't think we have an interaction between the artist and his father.
We do.
Do
Yeah, we
we?
do. And we know
Did
the
I just
basement.
forget
3
it?
of them.
The
Yeah.
basement.
Oh, the basement. You're right.
He doesn't interact with
And
his
his dad
father.
has cancer, right?
No, that's
Yeah,
Ted's dad.
that's Ted's
The
dad.
Oh,
artist's interactions with his father are always removed. He sits on the other
That's what
side
I
of the
mean.
wall.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Is you
Yeah.
never get a
And
direct interaction
oh,
with
that's
them.
right.
the
Okay.
direct interaction that we have is when his mother tells him to just try to be normal, and his father echoes
Right.
that.
Mm.
Just try to be normal.
Mhm.
Yeah,
But I think that's part of the isolation that
it
he's
is. Yeah, yeah, and that's what I'm saying is he picks interesting stories to tell. Like we don't get a story about the men at the harbor until the very end.
I
We
think we're
don't
not
see
meant
their
to because we're seeing the world through the eyes of 14-year-olds.
yeah, and that's what I mean. He's picking interesting perspectives and stories, right? Like he's got this whole story of this town that he could have told. Now
Mm-hmm.
the town's inspired by this kid. And he makes very select choices about like these are the interactions I'm going to tell and these aren't. And I think what you were saying earlier, Laura, about the most emotional interactions from the perspective of the 14-year-olds are the ones that he picks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because all of the stuff that we learn about the town, specifically the men in the town and Ted's mom, who has the same mentality as the men in the
These are
town,
the men in the town.
all come at the turning point of their lives at the end of that summer. He's
Yeah.
building up to it because, and he talks about it all the time. We should be 14 for longer than one summer, right? We should be able, and he talks about the end of that summer, August 1st or September 1st being, I guess it was August 1st that it happened, August 1st being the end of their childhood. And that's when, at the end of their childhood, that's when they start. It's when Ted has a real conversation with his brother. It's when they actually start like seeing their fathers as people and not these hulking figures who are making their lives miserable. It's that moment where they stop seeing the world through the eyes of a child. And it's also when the story starts to become more linear.
Yeah.
This happened, and then this happened, and this happened. And then Ali.
And then they kill Ali off camera. Yeah.
And I guess the happy ending too is
for
the
Ali.
train conductor, right?
Yeah, he goes super happy
neatly.
ending. Yeah, all of his books have super happy ending. It's like everybody has super happy ending at the end of every book.
I like that in a book.
Except Ali.
Except
Yeah.
Ali. Except Ali.
Again, Ali was happy and content in her life decisions and her choices.
She told Laura from beyond.
And she was a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah.
If you really think that that wasn't how she wanted to end, then that's not how she
I don't think it was.
I think that she was content.
I think he had a word count.
Nope.
And he had to rush a montage at the end of the book.
Your homework assignment is to go watch Point Break.
No, I've seen Point Break. I think he had it, but Ali was nothing like Patrick Swayze in Point Break. I think he had a word count, and he was rushing a montage at the end of the book.
I wanted Ali and
because the story has to wrap is Louisa, and so he's like, I think he gets to a certain page, and he's like, oh crap, I got to get this thing done.
Yeah.
And
no,
so he starts wrapping stories.
I think it was planned from the beginning. In the way she came swooping into their lives, she went out the same way.
I don't buy it. I mean, we'll never know, unless he says about it in an interview sometime, but I don't. I think I thought the ending was the most unfinished portion of the book. I think he should have had there could have been another 4 chapters wrapping those characters up. And I don't think anybody would have complained. I think they would have been like, yeah, this is great. Let's end it.
I think she and you should have had a kid, a family.
But they talked about why they couldn't.
Yeah.
They couldn't be that for each other.
Yeah, you keep saying that like that's reality. That he did that. He said he wrote a conversation why they couldn't be that for each other. It didn't have to be that way. He made a decision as a writer to make it that way.
He's not the only author who talks about that from a place of trauma. People who grew up with that level of trauma often can't be what other people need them to be. It's the reason why all summer they started fights with each other and then made up immediately and started fights with each other. They couldn't live the rest of their lives like that, and they knew it. And again, that was a decision that they understood at the end of the summer differently than they understood at the beginning of the summer.
It's a little like reading Stephen King's Stand By Me and saying there's no way the main character could ever become a lawyer because he grew up impoverished and poor. And people who grow up impoverished and poor don't always have that level and access of education. So it's unrealistic that at the end of the story, he's a social justice lawyer that's breaking up a robbery. And like, do you see the logic I'm saying that you're giving? It's like, you're talking about this as if it's reality. This is an author who made active choices about his characters. And I'm arguing that I don't like the active choices he made about this character.
And
I think it's rushed at the end. And I think it's like, I think it's rushed and thrown away. It's why this, like, of all, like, and again, it's hard to separate the story in this book from the narrator.
I agree.
But if you take the narrator out and you give a normal Backman narrator to this book, this is like in his bottom 3 for me.
Yeah.
But with the narrator elevates.
It's the narrator. Yep. It runs away with the show. Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, you're saying you don't like it as much, Jeff?
I don't like the story as much as the other stories. I love the narrator. I love the profound nature of the narrator. I think the narrator, the narrator's comments on art and on what it means to be in relationships and on, I think the first time it struck me.
The darkness of the story makes it the narrator even more profound.
I think the narrator is the embodiment of hope.
Yeah.
which is how every one of them who made it out made it out.
Well, it's the embodiment of hope and the very much the like interpreter of the worldview
Mm-hmm.
of the story. It's not just hope. The narrator is, very sage, and that he's giving insight into their experiences. Now, I will say at the beginning of the book, Louisa's very sage as well. I thought at
Oh,
one
yeah.
point we were going to learn that the narrator is actually Louisa in the like an adult version of
That
Louisa.
would be nice.
He never names the narrator. The narrator never gets a like actual persona. But Louisa at the beginning of the book is also very sage. She becomes less sage as the train ride goes on.
Okay.
It's really her commentary on fish that
Is it
has a lot of wisdom
her
to it.
commentary or is it the narrator?
That's what I'm sitting here debating, but she
It-
is the one that says the big comment on suicide, that Fish didn't kill herself. I can't remember the exact
Oh,
phrase.
yeah.
She was killed by life or killed by
Yeah,
something
she
or
was killed by the reality of the world. She has a couple comments like
yeah.
that at the start of the book
But it's
Yeah.
like the
that are,
narrator would say
yeah,
that.
So I think that those insights, those insights can be true for someone without them necessarily having the
that's,
sageness of, because
yeah,
everything that like we learn, especially in the first scenes where, I mean, the whole book starts with she had the perfect plan. Well, it started out perfect.
Oh, yeah.
And even that like beginning part is somebody else telling the story that was
yeah,
like,
about her. Yeah.
best laid plans didn't really work, but oh, wait, by the way, it did work out. So even though each character has their moments of wisdom, it is definitely, in my opinion, the narrator who is bringing the wisdom to the story.
Yeah, and not just commenting about the plan didn't work out, but also and this is what the narrator does in this one, I think that Bachman doesn't do in other ones, is in commenting on how this is the nature of a teenager. And like that's a great
Mm-hmm.
example of how the narrator elevates it, is that all of Bachman's narrators would say, like, hey, the plan didn't work out how she thought, but it will.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But then this narrator goes, and this is how teenage brains work. They have great plans that never come to fruition, or they
And
have
adults
plans
are
to
the
a certain
problem.
point. Yeah, and adults are the problem. And like
Right.
Mm-hmm.
it's that kind of like, that running commentary in this one that I think really does make it
Mm-hmm.
unique.
Yeah, the first paragraph was my favorite. Louisa is a teenager, the best kind of human. The evidence for this is simple. Little children think teenagers are the best humans. Teenagers think teenagers are the best humans. The only people who don't think teenagers are the best humans are adults, which is obviously because adults are the worst kind of humans.
Yeah.
That was,
I
That's
mean,
a little dark.
that pretty
That's
much
dark.
sums up my whole perspective on humanity right there.
Oh my.
One
Oh
paragraph.
no. Oh no.
oh, I taught middle school and I
Oh
can't
no.
stand teenagers.
Oh,
Teenagers are the worst kind of humans. If you ask me.
no.
Everybody's great. Every person.
That's why I
Every
don't
age.
teach middle school anymore. I taught preschool for a reason. Who loves
Yeah.
you and hugs you instead of tells you.
And it'll be interesting to see what they do with this one, because they're starting to make all of his books into movies. It's a
Mm-hmm.
slow, and I think that's a natural progression for a writer like him who's
Mm-hmm.
become so popular. I would argue that this will be the worst movie,
I won't watch it.
because you can't get that. It's so hard to get that
Mm-hmm.
running narrator voice unless you do a like Big Lebowski voiceover with like
Mm-hmm.
Sam Shepard and his like booming bass voice
Yeah.
commenting, but
I feel
even
like the
then
characters
it
would be
disrupts the
great
action
though.
so much.
Yeah, I don't know that they could do the story justice.
Yeah, it would be
So
really hard.
when I was in high school, The Count of Monte Cristo was coming out as a movie, and I was so excited because I was reading the book. And my friend and I went to the midnight showing on a Thursday night, and I was just shattered because the movie was
Not good. Yeah.
not even not good. May have been the second worst movie I had ever seen at that point in my life. And now, like, this book has so much weight to it that I feel like it would just be doing it a disservice. I know I'll be disappointed. So now, if I had seen the movie before I read the book, I might feel differently about it. But since I've read the book,
It's
I just
interesting you bring that comparison around because this kind of like third person omniscient narrator that comments on things is very like mid 1800s French author. Like
mm-hmm,
Dumas and Hugo, like Les Mis, Three
mm-hmm,
Musketeers, they all have this like social commentary running.
mm-hmm,
It's I would say it's not as artful and as accessible as it is in My Friends, but
mm-hmm,
they're kind of known for that third person omniscient.
mm-hmm,
Like we're in every character's head and we know everything
mm-hmm.
happening all the
Yeah.
time. Yeah.
Maybe Jeff, you should write the screenplay for this and then you can
No
make it.
chance. I'm not touching this. It's too I will it made I as I sit here and criticize it, it made me cry all the time. It took me a long time to read because I had to keep turning it off because I was
Hmm.
so engaged in the character emotions that come
Oh,
through
I
in the
wrote down the
book.
one time I cried was when it was the maintenance guy. Oh, I forget
Christian.
where I were.
Mm.
No, wasn't there another maintenance guy? And oh, I forget.
The one with the skulls.
Yeah,
He was the janitor. It's
Yeah,
just
he's
the
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 one.
janitor.
janitor.
Yeah.
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 He said something. Oh, I wrote it down, but it would take me too long to find it. But that's the only time I cried, and it just like now I gotta find it.
Yeah, they hit me every time they used the phrase "I love you and I believe in you." That was a big.
Oh,
Mhm.
That one really hit me hard every time they said that. I thought that was a
Yeah.
very poignant way to express. And the first time they say it, it's because they feel like the words "I love you" aren't going to be enough for how they feel, which I thought was a beautiful kind of expression of that. Um,
Yeah.
oh, I found it. You're right. It was Christian when he called his mom. I don't know why, because they said this many times in the book, but for some reason, this was the one time. I guess because we knew what was going to happen. And he called his mom and said, "I found one, mom."
mhm.
And
Hmm.
that's when I cried. I was like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
for him to say it, I don't know, it was different.
Well, it's a beautiful parallel between because it's what the artist has said about Louisa to Ted,
Ted.
and then you learn later that it's what Christian said to his mother about
Yeah.
the artist.
And we knew he
Yeah.
was in drugs at that time
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
called his mom
Yeah.
and then didn't make it out after that, right? That's when
Hmm.
he
Yeah. He doesn't make it out. Yeah.
I'm gonna cry again.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right. Anything else you want to talk about? Anything else we haven't covered in the craft of the book or the what you think of the book? Or I actually think this is my third favorite Bachman book. I'm just gonna rank them. I still
What's your first favorite?
anxious people and a man called Over still 1 and 2 for me.
Oh yeah, man.
Ova's my number one.
Yeah. I'd put this one below over the whole Beartown trilogy. I'd put it over Britt Marie Was Here. Um, I can't think of another one. Although I
See, I
don't think
don't
I'd read this one again.
Yeah.
see. I don't know that this being my first Bachman, I almost read Beartown, and I didn't. And I have Anxious People as an audiobook, but I
Yeah.
haven't listened to it. This being my first, I think it'll be a while before I can dive back in.
The other ones aren't like this one. This one's different. It's the narrator. The
Yeah,
narrator's heavier.
heavy.
But his intensity of you use him a lot
Yeah.
as your descriptor for internalization
Hmm.
versus externalization.
Yep.
I prefer my emotionality externalized versus internalized.
Yeah.
And I choose most of my stories based off of that externalization versus that
Yeah.
internalization.
Most of his characters are masked. They have what they're saying on the outside and what they're feeling on the inside is radically different.
Mm-hmm.
And most of his stories are a journey of the inside aligning with the outside.
Mm-hmm.
Much like Louisa in this story.
Mm-hmm.
what I love about how he does emotion, like in this book with Louisa, is a lot of times her jokes are hints to how she actually sees the world, like her constantly joking that Ted has kidnapped her
Yeah.
is a like very, I think, well done way to say Louisa feels out of place all the time. She doesn't feel in the world. And so even this man who's being very nice to her has kidnapped her. And then to like,
Was
there's
she
a
very
very,
nice to him?
no, well, there's a very, not really. There's a very
No.
poignant moment though where she's about to yell that he's kidnapped me, or she's debating saying that or running away. It's when they like are getting the police stop them on the train.
Mm-hmm.
And then she awakens to realize that Ted is explaining that she's his daughter. And there's this like very like, but the contrast between how she explains and how he explains, and then the realization she has when someone else explains the same situation in a different way. He does that kind of stuff a lot with
Yeah.
emotionality. It's that like characters in the characters feeling needing something deeply and being unable to express it, so they tease about it in jokes. Like
Yeah.
Britt Marie's constantly cleaning everything. She doesn't know why she's cleaning everything. She's just cleaning everything all the time. And then finally, 2/3 of the way through the story, you learn that Britt Marie's hasn't always been this way. This is new because her husband's made a mess of her life. And so she's trying to just get things clean again, but she doesn't know, she doesn't understand her own internal need. So he gives them these ticks, these like funny
Mm-hmm.
things they do on the exterior that, but yeah, talking about how Bachman does
Yeah.
emotionality. Yeah.
No, I would say that scene where the police come over
Mm-hmm.
is a fantastic representation of two sides of what
Yeah.
privilege looked like.
Yep. It's beautiful. And he
Like,
nails it. Yeah.
it's amazing, right? Like,
Yeah.
here's this middle-aged white man who says whatever he wants to the cops, despite the fact that his face looks like he's just been in a fight, because he
It's pretty
has.
right. Yeah.
And he just says, yeah, I fell down the stairs. And the cops are like, okay, and who's
Yeah.
this with you? And he's like, it's my daughter. And here she is, panicked and terrified that they're going to haul her off and send
Mm-hmm.
her back. And she can't find her passport. And Fish has told her that without your passport, you don't even exist. It's proof you exist, right? Like, that's all of that, all coming out into that moment. And here's this 40-year-old white man who just has it all under control just by the sound of his own voice. And it was such a beautiful
Yeah.
representation of privilege.
And then there's a fascinating moment at the end of that where he bends down, picks up her passport, and hands it to her,
Yep.
and tells her like, "Oh no, you have this wrong. Your pass you," because she says my passport is what proves that I'm here, and he's
Yep.
like, "No, no, your presence proves that you're here." And
Yeah.
it's a like,
Yeah.
a beautiful kind of like comment on that privilege and what he does with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, this has all the themes of a Bachman, like privilege, social justice, the outcast, all are like themes in every Bachman book.
Mm-hmm.
The rejected, the impoverished is a big theme in his books versus the wealthy,
Mm-hmm.
and then he always weaves in suicide. There's always
Yeah.
there's always commentary about suicide, which I've been told is a Swedish thing. That it's not just him, that all Swedish authors are always talking about. Somebody told me it's because it's so snowy during the winter.
I think there's a high rate. Somebody said in
Yeah,
one
that
of
they're
our,
all kind
Really?
of they're
Mhm.
all
I thought
very
it was one of the
depressed
happiest countries on earth, no?
when the sun comes out, evidently.
Well, is there a
Yeah.
lot of injustice? I wouldn't assume there would be a lot of injustice in Sweden, but maybe I'm wrong. But I
It
wonder why
typically revolves around immigrants.
Mm,
And in this story, he doesn't specifically address immigration, but what he'll often do is give his characters names that are foreign to Sweden. So Ali is
Mhm.
not a Swedish name,
Mhm.
right? Like, and that's what he
Kim Kim.
does.
But
Kim Kim is not a Swedish, or Kim.
Again, Ali was a nickname.
It wasn't, we don't actually know her real name, but yeah, but he does that. That's a thing that he does, is he names characters.
Though he does talk about
things.
immigration pretty clearly. Ted's
Does
family
he?
were immigrants.
Oh, you're right. He does.
The
Yeah.
whole
I
reason
forgot about
Oh,
that.
they
yeah.
befriended him
Yeah.
was because he
Right.
was being made fun of for being an immigrant.
For being
That's
an immigrant.
right. That's
Yeah.
right.
And
Mhm.
it's the whole reason that his brother went down the path that he was going
Mhm.
down.
Yeah.
Also,
Right.
can we just take 1 second and talk about the brother's story? Talk
Oh,
about everything being tied up with a neat little bow.
Yeah.
I
And,
like that.
just one person in one moment believing in you is
Yep.
enough to plant a seed.
Yeah. It's really beautiful.
I thought that was a
Beautifully done.
nice, just like kind of shoved in there as a, oh, by the way, this can happen.
Yeah.
Kind of like how Ali floated off into nothing. Poking the bear, Jeff. Sorry.
Bye, Sarah. No, it's okay. I'm over it. He's allowed to do what he wants to do. If he wants to end the book in a montage, it's fun. No, I'm just kidding. I can complain, but I also love the book. So there's a, hesitancy to my complaints. Yeah, I'd forgotten that Ted's family's immigrants. I'd totally forgotten about that. He does. And that's always it's another one of his constant themes. Typically, the quote unquote hero of the story is the immigrant, his stories, which Dixie's is immigration is a huge problem in Sweden. It's a big, in that whole, region. It's a big struggle that their culture deals with all the time. Because I think for so long, their culture was singular. But
That's what I think of them
as transportation and like globalization has happened, there's been large waves of immigrants coming to those nations. And they're very mixed in culture now. And there's a lot of pushback against that. And he addresses it in all of his books. But in Bachman, the Man Called Ove, the family that really
Oh, yeah.
saves Ove is Pakistani.
Yeah.
In Beartown, the hero of the story is a Muslim kid that nobody wants anything to do with. Britt Marie was here. The woman that like befriends her.
That's right. That was in the
Yeah.
house, owned the house
Yep.
or the tavern.
The one
Yep.
that refuses to come out of the house.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So it's a theme that he carries in all of his work.
He's a very deep guy, but he's also sarcastic, which I think is why I like this book. It was deep yet sarcastic, and
Yeah, he's
which is
very
pretty
funny.
much
Yeah.
me and my whole family. So that's why I liked it. I think.
Yeah.
But he says in the interview too, it's funny, he talks about his like teenage daughters and how he's in the teenage mix now, and that's how he really knew the nuances of Louisa versus Ted, how she would always make fun of him because her daughter's friends make fun of him. And so
It's really funny. All right. Well, we're a little over. Thanks everybody for reading and talking about the book.
Thank you. This was nice. Fun. It's good seeing you guys.
Yeah, it was great to see y'all too.
All right. Take care.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.